YouTube family? How's everybody doing tonight? It is about 8:45 p.m. I just ended my shift, so I'm about to really just get right into it. I'm not going to take too much time. Listen, I was starting this video because I reached a million YouTube views today, and boy, that's a huge accomplishment for me personally. So I'm proud of myself, and the best way to celebrate this is to drop some knowledge for y'all. That's what I want to do. Ain't a whole lot I can do, but that's what I want to do today. And that knowledge is about the habeas corpus. This is for educational purposes only. You can find more information on my website, my Patreon website, which we are on right now. We are on my website right now, Richmill33. And I want to break down, and honestly, I'm just going to read verbatim, but why the habeas corpus is important and how it can help free your friend, family member, somebody you love, cousin, whatever, somebody you know, if only if they didn't commit murder or something extreme. I mean, really extreme is murder for real, when involving people and shit like that, for real. If you really harm somebody, I don't believe this is going to help you at all. If you laid hands or, I don't know, like I said, murder or homicide of that nature, and it depends. It really depends. But it won't necessarily help you. But what will help you is the fact that knowing procedures, your public agents, police officers, governor, all these people that work for the government, your governor, the president, all these people that work in the United States corporation has a oath of office, and they must perform. A man, you know what I'm saying? You are, what's the best way I can say this? Your word is your bond, right? So when they give an oath, when these agents take an oath of office, they are giving their word. They are giving a bond. That bond is a promise, a verbal promise. Everything is energy. I really function on understanding how energy works. So when somebody give you a promise, you expect somebody to uphold that promise, to uphold that oath, that commitment, right? So with that being said, when they take these oaths of offices, they are under performance. They are under a fiduciary duty to perform for the private citizens, the civilians of the country. So let me just break this down really quick. Let's get right into it. I don't want to waste any more time. So let's get right into it. I'm going to read verbatim what the habeas corpus allows. And I want you to know how to free your best friend, family member, or somebody you might know. Now, this probably, like I said, before I get into it, this probably would not work if somebody actually real deal was out here being malicious, and you intentionally harmed or hurt somebody. If that was your intent to harm or hurt somebody, 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10, this will not work. I'm going to tell you why. This will work because if you understand who you are and if you understand procedures, federal rules or procedures, once again, we go back to that oath. They took an oath to perform. They took an oath to protect certain things, the Constitution and the statutes, the codes, and all that nature, and whatever other oath they have taken under the table. We're gonna address this right here. As a judge, as a attorney, they took an oath to uphold the Constitution. And there's a couple constitutions. I want you to understand that. There's also a code of conduct that they must follow. But I feel like I'm rambling. Let's just get right into it. The writ of habeas corpus exists precisely so that any person in custody or someone acting in their interest can ask a court to review whether that custody was lawful. Under 28 U.S.C. subsection 2242, a petition may be signed and verified by the person who relief it is intended or by someone acting on his behalf. Y'all understand what I just said there? That could be anybody. You can act on the behalf of anybody that is incarcerated. Your family member, your friend, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. If you really truly love them, you'll put in the legwork. But let's continue. That phrase, someone acting on his behalf, is what let families, members, or friends start the process pro se without a lawyer. You can proceed pro se. And there's another terminology. I can't think of it at the top of my dome right now, but there's another terminology you could proceed without a attorney as well. Check this out. Number 2, the next friend rule. Listen to what I'm saying here. Read it carefully. Listen to what I'm saying. To move forward, courts require you to qualify as a next friend. 2 conditions from Whitmore and Arkansas, 495 U.S. 149, 1990. Okay? The inmate cannot file on his own, for example, because of mental incapacity, physical restrictions, or a lack of access to legal materials. Okay? Number 2, you must have a significant relationship and be sincerely acting in their best interest, not filing for personal or political reasons. This is important. We're talking about a common law writ here. I teach this stuff to certain people, and even when certain people ask me certain things, I give them this specific remedy because you're dealing with agents, public servants who have taken an oath to follow procedures. Okay, I'm making this an effort, and I'm bringing this to light because the truth is a lot of them don't follow procedures, and this is where your court case ends. If you understand due process, your court case ends when they violate their procedures, when they violate their oath of office, when they violate due process. It doesn't matter. And I repeat, listen to me carefully when I say this. It does not matter what you did. Okay? I need you to understand what I'm saying here, because I'm not saying, oh, what you did, you should get away with it, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's going to be held accountable. But before you can be held accountable for your actions, your agents, your public agents, your attorneys, the detectives, you know what I'm saying, your judges, they need to follow protocol. They need to follow specific steps. And if you go to your state statutes and codes and stuff, and honestly, if you just read the United States Constitution by itself, your Bill of Rights, you will understand how they need to proceed and how they're supposed to protect your rights, your liberties. They're supposed to honor and protect the estates, but they don't all the time, right? They will if you push them. If you, it's gonna be another video. I just say like that's gonna be another video. I'm gonna break that down because, yeah, that's gonna be a whole nother video. I'm gonna break that down. But let's continue for real. If both are met, 1 and 2, if 1 and 2 is met of these conditions, right? Rock with me. Are met, the court can accept your petition and treat you as a temporary representative until the inmate can speak for themselves. Do y'all understand the power? Bro, yo, bro, our ancestors put the remedy in place for us. Do you understand what I just read to y'all? I'm gonna read it again. If both 1 and 2 of these conditions are met, the court can accept your petition and treat you as a temporary representative until the inmate can speak for themselves. A lot of times our friends and family members go in there and they're not allowed to computers or internet or have pen and paper, right? But you got to understand where a lot of this stuff stems from. They took an oath and they must follow procedures. If they come and get you without presenting a warrant or any type of paperwork certified by a real deal claimant or a judge, it's invalid and you can challenge it and your case will be dismissed. I know a lot of my friends and family members are going to jail, are going to prison because they volunteered to go. The reason they volunteered to go because they did not challenge procedures. One, they don't know who they are. Two, they do not understand due process. This is an issue. This is why you go to court, you're going to either pay or you're going to stay. Did you understand what I just said? You're going to pay some money or you're going to be staying in jail or you're going to be staying in prison. It's one or the other. Or you can learn how to address procedures and to get that shit thrown out. Let's go. How to do it properly. Draft the petition using the federal form AO 241 or your state's habeas corpus. I have personally drafted a common law habeas corpus and freed a man. I'm on live telling you this for real. I've personally drafted a common law, meaning there's no codes, there's no statutes, there's none of that attached to it. Filed it and freed a man who was in jail for a year in Cobb County, along with some other paperwork I put in. But I'm being specific here and I'm being real. That habeas corpus, oh man, let's get deeper into it for real. Let's keep going. Number one, draft the petition using the federal form AO 241 or your state's habeas corpus form. List yourself as next friend of inmate's name in captions. Identify the facility and custodian, aka the warden, or the clerk of the court. You can put a couple people down for real. The judge themselves, the administrators themselves. Okay. Number two, attach an affidavit explaining your relationship to the inmate, why they cannot file personally. Usually that's due to them not having access to pen, paper, internet, or them being on restrictions. Okay. Three, that you are not an attorney and expect the court to appoint counsel or request the inmate's own signature later. Three, file in the correct court. Federal custody, U.S. District Court of the District of Confinement. Okay? That's self-explanatory for real. Or state custody. Usually the local state trial or appellate court. Check state habeas corpus statutes of your state. Okay? I'm going to say this. I'm going to personally say this. If you understand what I'm saying here, your shit shouldn't go to appellate court. You need to be active immediately. As soon as your case starts, whether you get arrested, you're called into court, whether there's a complaint filed to you or what, by the state of such and such. You need to be active because we shouldn't even be in the appellate court. Things happen where you might have to go, okay, cool. Because the reason that happened, because you didn't probably agree to something, or you put some paperwork in, the judge was like, all right, you tripping, you might need you might need some legal counseling, you might need what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word? Oh, a mental evaluation. Yes. Yeah. When the judge tell you you need a mental evaluation, 9 times out of 10, they telling you you are going the wrong way. Meaning you're following the wrong thing. And not only are you following the wrong thing, but most importantly, what is coming out of your mouth. That is truly what's important. That's truly what's important. What comes out of your mouth. And whew, I can tell you from experience a lot of different scenarios, but let's keep going. Number 4, serve copies on the state attorney general or U.S. attorney. This is important because everybody needs to be on notice of what's going on in your case and need to also be aware of the violations that have taken place during your case. Number 5, stay factual and respectful. This is key. Being respectful is key. You go a long way with respect. Focus on constitutional violations, due process, ineffective counsel, unlawful warrant, and include supporting exhibits or affidavits. You see this here? Due process, ineffective counsel, unlawful warrant. These are things that they must have in order before they come and get you, before they even start talking to you about anything. These things need to be in order. Okay? But this is what you do. You want to list down your due process liberties and effective counsel. This is how you get them on procedure violations. Number 4, realistic expectations. The court will first review whether you have standing as next friend. Okay, that'd be the judge. 9 times out of 10, it'd be your clerk for real, because your clerk is the one that receives the paperwork. It's gonna look over and be like, all right, this is effective. This is legit. They know you're dealing with a bank. Clerk, bank, clerk of the bank. Your courthouse is a bank, but that's going to be a whole nother segment there. Let's keep it going for educational purposes only. The court will first review whether you have standing as next of friend. If accepted, the judge can order the government to show cause while the inmate is held, or dismissed without prejudice if they find the inmate can file on their own. 9 times out of 10, and a lot of times the inmate cannot file on their own, and you must file on their behalf. If you truly love your friend and family member that you say you claim. Oh, free my, hey, I see a lot of dudes be saying, free my nigga and blah, 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 blah. You free them, bro. Understand the procedure violation that has taken place. You file the paperwork. You free your best homie. Understand what I'm saying? You have the capability to free your homie from due process violations that each and every public officer has violated. If you understand who you are and you understand that they must follow specific rules, then you can file this specific writ of habeas corpus to free your buddy. If not, you can take it to a federal level. But I personally haven't been to the federal level. I filed habeas corpus right there in the state level, because we talking about serious consequences here. If that habeas corpus, that writ has to go up to a whole nother level, meaning the federal. If you file that writ of habeas corpus in federal court, they're going to review your documents. They're probably going to maybe you can submit some exhibits. I would, attach to the habeas corpus. And they are going to come down and compel the lower court. They're going to compel them to performance, to show cause, and to bring the inmate into court and to show cause. This is truly important. Because 10 times out of 10, if you haven't injured nobody and it's just a corporation versus your name, your all caps name, they'll violate due process, and you can leave with a check for real. I'm not even playing. I'm just being completely honest. It's a reason that they call it the Bill of Rights. You know what a bill is. every person who live on this fucking earth know what a bill is. So when you go back to the Constitution and you look up the Bill of Rights, they telling you right there, that is a bill. That is a credit instrument. It's a trust document as well. But for real, it's a credit instrument. Bill of Rights. If any one of these public agencies violate your rights, liberties, your life to freedom, you file a writ and you can issue a bill for your distress, your damages. This is what I'm saying. This is important. Let's continue, though. You are not allowed to argue the case in hearings like attorneys unless you're licensed. And I'm going to keep it real. They're not even licensed. You don't need and here's the reality. You don't need a license to practice law. If you know law and you understand law, you enforce it. Okay? The only time a judge might say you might need a license to practice law, They're telling you straight up in your face, you are going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. The judges know the judges are administrators. They're here to protect the estate. Your all caps name is not you. It is a corporation. I promise you that. That could be a whole nother video. Let's keep it going though. But I'm telling you this for a reason. You are not allowed to argue the case in hearings like an attorney unless you're licensed. Once counsel is appointed or the inmate can sign, your role ends. It's like that. And so, in some cases, in certain cases, if you know how to assert yourself and provide certain notices, if you can provide certain notices, an equitable notice, once counsel is appointed or inmate can sign, your role ends. I'm telling you right now, your role never ends behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, your role never ends. I'm being real. I'm telling you from experience. Your role can never end when it comes to freeing your best friend. It never ends, y'all. So in summary, you can initiate a habeas petition on behalf of an inmate. Whether you can be next of friend, kin, whoever, even if you know them for real. The court don't know if y'all really can, but somebody who real deal, like your best friend for real, can put this shit in for real. A family member who really gives a fuck about what's going on with your case, they can put this document in. You must qualify as next friend and follow 28 USC subsection 2242 plus Whitmore versus Arkansas. This is federal. When you see shit like this, 28 USC, United States Code, we're talking about federal. These are federal codes here, right? I don't use federal codes. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but I personally don't use federal codes if I'm in a lower state. If I'm at the state level, I don't need to use federal codes. That's just me personally. I could if I want to, but I'm not. I'm using common law. Habeas corpus without this. The habeas corpus without this. That's all I'm doing. But let's continue. File in the correct court, including affidavit, and expect the court to contact or appoint counsel for the inmate. This can get done, yo. This can get done. I also have a template. It follows 28 USC subsection 2242 and the Supreme Court's Whitmore versus Arkansas, 1990. That's the year that this case took place. Standard. The correct federal rule that allows someone to file on behalf of an inmate without pretending to be their lawyer. Boy, I'm telling you, a good white man put me up on this information, bro. You don't need to be a lawyer. You don't need to be a fucking paralegal. You need to be people. You need to be the civilian. That's it, for real. That's it. That's all you need to be. You're not under no codes. You're under universal law for sure. But you're not under them codes, statutes, and policies. You're unlimited. This is what Morpheus was showing Neo in the movie The Matrix. You can wear any hat that you want to wear. You're unlimited. You're a full battery supply. But let's continue. This is the template I have provided. Petition for writ of habeas corpus. If you're going to go ahead and file in federal court. This is great information. This is great to know. This is on my website. Okay? I'm not hiding nothing, yo. I'm not hiding anything. I want you to edit this and do more research, but I use this template for a reason, because number 3, jurisdiction basis. This petition is filed under 28 USC subsection 2241 or subsection 2254 if challenging a state conviction. So if you already been convicted, your friend or family member can come in and file this specific form. The petitioner is presently in custody with the court's jurisdiction, and the next friend files on their behalf due to inability to access the courts personally. Number 4, Reason for next friend filing. You have your options. Okay, petitioner lacks physical access to legal materials or mail. What did I say earlier? Petitioner suffers from medical or mental incapacity, right? You need to be knowledgeable. If you retarded, understand what I just said. If you're retarded, slow, and you have the mental incapacity to file, then your family, your friends can come in on your behalf. Petitioner is being held in communication or prevented from filing. Excuse me, incommunicado or prevented from filing or other. You have options. You have options. Your grounds for habeas corpus relief, you will list the due process violations. I will list, you know what I'm saying, the violation of the fact that the instrument, 9 times out of 10, it'd be the warrant or whatever paperwork they claim that they might have. You need to see it. 9 times out of 10, it's an error. Anytime the courts, the state of file something against you, there needs to be an affidavit attached to it with the judge's wet ink signature, signed there, stamped by the court of clerk. There's a lot of things that need to take place, and need to have, like, if I haven't already said it, it needs to have an affidavit attached to it. It needs to have an affidavit attached to it. There are no other ways around this, yo. I'm telling you, they are underperformance. Number 6, this is everything you need to list. Everything that you see here is everything that you need to list. This is how you get through the door, get your remedy. This is how you get your best friend out of jail or in prison, especially if they haven't injured nobody, whether it be a drug charge or a traffic case or something of that nature. But if they haven't physically injured somebody or their property possibly, they can go home. But you need to know how to file this shit. Number 6, relief requested. This is important. Practitioner, by and through the next friend, respectively, request this honorable court to what? Number 1, issue the writ of habeas corpus directing respondent to reproduce the petitioner before the court and show lawful cause for detention. Did y'all get what I just read there? Number 2, grant release, retrial, or other relief consistent with constitutional rights. And number 3, appoint counsel or permit practitioner to proceed in forma proprius once contact is reestablished. Let's go up. I also list on my website the affidavit of next friend. How could you go wrong? How could you go wrong? How could you go wrong? You have the authority, if you got some balls, if you got the energy, right? For educational purposes only. If you got the energy and the knowledge and confidence to understand what I just laid out here, this is your affidavit. Simple. To the point. To the point. To the point. Straight to the point. And you have the option to get it notarized, which you see here. Notarization is optional, but recommended. If not, it is what it is. That's fine. The law allows any man or woman to speak for liberty, even if the one suffering it can't. The next friend rule on the 28 U.S.C. subsection 2242 was made for moments like this, when an innocent person sits behind bars with no voice. Someone who loves them can file the writ that brings light into the cell. I'm glad I was able to do this live right now. That took me less than 30 minutes. That's cool. Perfect. That's all I needed. I was trying to get this video under that. I'm going to make another part 2 to this video, but I want to give you all them gems. And if you look, you see the website. You see the website. Go on Patreon. Follow Rich Mill 33, y'all. I'm dropping love. I'm dropping gems. I drop this stuff to y'all because I've done this from experience. And I need to be more active. I need to be more out there. And I need to be really kind of, careful how about I drop my content to the world. But yeah, I wanted to give y'all this video tonight. Yeah, I'm celebrating my 1 million views. Next goal is 100K subscribers on YouTube. That's my goal. I appreciate everybody that followed and watch and share. You are appreciated. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your attention and energy. And to the next video, Rich Mill 33. I'm out. Much love. Peace, y'all.